Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 313 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Of course, we are part of the Going for Two Live podcast network. We have shows literally every day of the week. You could find us right here on Wednesday nights on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, and, of course, syndicated on all major podcast networks. If you are currently watching us on Twitter, we cannot see your comments. Twitter has never fixed that. So please go find us on YouTube. That's just youtube.com/@GoingForTwoLive. And then we can see your comments. You can interact with the show. All right. I am here with my co-host, as always, Mr. Ryan Steerfoss. What's up, Ryan?
Oh, nothing, man. Just excited to have JD here. It's been a while.
Has been a while. So let me go ahead and introduce JD. It's been so long. I got to introduce him all over again. JD, of course, is the founder of the GOAT District podcast. You can follow him at JD GOAT District. You can follow the podcast at GOAT District. What's up, JD?
What's up, Jeff? Ryan, always a blast. I can't believe it's been 2 years, man. You said that, and it's, like you said, your beard, my beard, everything's getting gray. We just keep getting older, but yeah, man, another season coming up. It's exciting, but I couldn't believe it's been 2 years. I appreciate you guys having me, man. I always love coming on. You guys always have an interesting show sheet, which is fun.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, glad to have you. Definitely not going to have it go 2 years again. That's for sure. So real quick, for my listeners that don't know who you are, kind of give us a rundown of GOAT District and what you do in the fantasy space.
Yeah, man. If you check out GOAT District on YouTube, at GOAT District on Twitter, if you want to follow us there. We talk high stakes fantasy, dynasty, redraft, best ball. We bring in the biggest winners, the best analysts, the biggest guests on the show. Some of the biggest high stakes players on the planet on the regular. We've got DOG Fantasy, who works with us. We've got Dan Williamson at Overhyped Sleeper. And every once in a while, we got our buddy Andrew Schellenberg. Schellenberg comes in and drops in for a little treat. But good little group. Like I said, we bring in the best. We love hammering these guys and getting information to help us in our high stakes leagues. And that hopefully helps our audience. And yeah, man, check us out. We do Ball in Live, which is a live best ball show. Once a week, we do a live draft on the FFPC. And we do Dynasty Market Check, which is focused on dynasty values, trades, that sort of thing. And then we've got our main show on Wednesday night, the GOAT District. So, yeah, man, check us out on YouTube and on Twitter.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Their show is definitely good. It's one of my favorite sort of independent podcasts to listen to. So definitely, guys, go check that out. As always, guys, today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their industry-leading fantasy best ball leagues. They have huge tournaments, private leagues, pick them for every major sport. You sign up using our promo code GF2 and get a deposit match up to $100. It's as simple as that. Sign up, use promo code GF2, and start drafting your best ball teams. We have an awesome show tonight, as JD kind of alluded to a little bit here. We're going to do some combine reactions. Combine just happened this past weekend. We'll do some fact or cap for those old people that don't know what cap means. It just means false.
I had to ask. I had no idea.
And then we're going to mock draft some receivers over the age of 25 years old. Everyone's talking rookies right now, so we want to mix up a little bit and do some guys that are a little bit older and do a draft for them. But first, we always kick off everything with our nonsense draft. Let's go ahead and jump into that.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, today we are mock drafting the best movies with one-word titles. and JD, you got the 101. So go ahead and kick us off here.
Easy peasy. Rounders.
Rounders is a
Oh,
great one. I did not have that on my list, but that is a great pick. That is a great pick.
wow.
Yeah, so I got the 102, and now I feel like, damn, I should have had that one as number one. But so when I was first doing my research, I was kind of thinking this was gonna be difficult, and then I realized there's probably 5 movies on my list that are in my top 10 all-time movies. Just not even one-word titles, just in general. So I think this is a lot easier than I thought it was.
It was.
Agreed.
Yeah, it really was. I thought it was going to be difficult. I should have done like 7-word titles or something really difficult. But
I don't even know how you search that.
So I'm going to go with a movie that I watched on VHS way back in the day, and it came on 2 VHS because it was like 3.5 hours long, and you couldn't fit it all on one VHS.
I know what it is.
I bet you don't.
I bet you.
It's Braveheart is the movie.
That is not what I was thinking.
Yeah, that was
I like
my
that
favorite
call.
movie. Like in high school, I watched that movie all the time, and I would sit there 3.5 hours and watch that movie. I wore it out. I think that VHS has seen better days. But yeah, that's my favorite movie of all time, I think. So that's definitely my 101 there. But Rounders was definitely going to be up there if I had thought of Rounders. That's a great call at the 101. All right, Ryan, you got the 103.
So I tried thinking of the movies without looking them up, so it kind of got weird. But I'm going with like a dark horse movie I loved when I was younger. It's called Snatch.
Oh,
It's an old Guy Ritchie movie with like Brad Pitt, Benicio del Toro, Vinnie Jones, Jason Statham. I freaking love the old school like British.
Is that the one where you can't understand
Brad Pitt at all? Yeah.
Brad Pitt? Yeah.
He's the pikey boxer, bare knuckle
That's right.
boxer.
That's right.
Like Gags? Do I
like
like
Gags?
You like Gags? Yeah, that movie is awesome. That's on my list. That was one of the ones that's in my top 10 of all time movies. I love that movie.
I thought I was gonna be real weird for that one.
Yeah, no, that one was good. I don't know if you've ever watched the other one too, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Every one of his movies, love them all. Rock and Rolla.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie's. All of his movies are similar, but I love them all.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we're back to you, JD. What you got for your 104 pick here?
I could go so many ways, but one of my all-time favorites is Heat. I love Heat. I remember having the DVD for that thing, and kind of like you talked about Braveheart. I've watched that movie a million times. Just love everything about it. The cinematography of it, the actors, the casting, everything, storyline. Just a great movie.
Absolutely, that's a great pick. Wasn't on my list either. So you're doing good here, JD. You're getting the sleepers that no one's thinking about. I love it. All right, I'm up here at the 105, and Ryan took my pick here. I was hoping that Snatch would have fallen to this pick. That's what I would have gone with here. But I'm going to go with another movie that I love, another movie probably in the 90s that I wore out. It has some of the great lines from Val Kilmer, who played Doc Hollywood. Or Doc Holliday. Tombstone is a movie that I loved back in the day, and it's got some of the greatest, I'm your Huckleberry, and some great quotes from that movie that you can go look up. But it's an awesome movie. Tombstone is my 105 pick here. Ryan, you got the 106.
I'm going with the movie that's just kind of lived in the back fear of my mind since I've seen it, and that's Jaws. It's just an all-time classic. I refuse to be the deepest person in the ocean anytime. I always make sure somebody else is in front of me just so they get munched on before me, and it's just never left my brain.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely a good one. That was one of the best shark movies I think of all time right there.
It's one of the best horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
It's a real fear for people getting munched on by a shark.
Absolutely.
Especially back then, right? Back like that kind of movie.
Yeah.
Those effects were pretty effective back then.
Absolutely.
It was realistic back then.
All right, JD, your last pick here at the 107. What you got?
I could go so many ways here. I'm going to go with an obvious one, and it's at the top of my list. I'll go with Scarface.
Nice. That was on my list as well. That's a great choice. Great choice. All right. I'm up here with my last pick, and I got a couple good ones here that I still really like, but there's one that stands out. Again, another movie that I like the quotes of. There's one scene that plays constantly on TikTok. They'll show it over and over again on TikTok, probably because I've liked it a few times. It probably gives me the algorithm now where I always get this scene, but the movie is Gladiator.
Are you not entertained?
Absolutely.
That was next on my list. I love that.
Great movie. So that's my last pick. Ryan, close us out here. What do you got for the 109?
My absolute favorite as a child, and I still will watch it and love it to this day, Ghostbusters.
That's a good one.
Surprised nobody said Rudy.
Yeah, that one didn't make my list.
I hate Rudy. I think he's overrated.
I mean, there's classics left like Goodfellas, Rocky, Casino.
Yeah.
7. I had 7 on my list.
7, yep. Batman.
Taken with the greatest phone call of all time.
I know Ryan. His next ones were Titanic and Ghost. I'm pretty sure.
Obviously, Super Bad could have made it.
Yep.
Super Bad.
I was thinking about Grease. Just kidding.
I hope you weren't.
No, it wasn't. Oh, Terminator's a good one in the chat.
Terminator, yeah, that's another good one.
Aliens, Beetlejuice.
I feel like I avoided one. The word was a long word.
You just went with the short ones.
Yeah, because like when you said one word, I was like, short word, quick movie. That's why Smash popped into my mind in Jaws.
Or you're not sure if it's 1 or 2 words, so you're like, okay, I'll stick to the short ones.
Yeah,
like Caddyshack.
That's a good one.
It's listed as a 1-word movie,
could
but
be 1, could be 2.
It could be
hyphenated.
Yeah, it depends on your mood.
Good stuff. All right, let's get to some combine review here. Obviously, your combine happened this past weekend, and we as Dynasty people pay attention to it because it raises the stock of certain players in our drafts and lowers some stock in some drafts as well. So JD, I'm gonna just go to you first. Just the overall thoughts on the combine, and kind of comment a little bit on the format this year. They kind of moved all the skill players to the weekend, which they haven't done in the past. So I'm just curious your overall thoughts on the combine and how you think it went.
So I like it and I didn't like it. Like for me, just because of my schedule, I have more access to anything football during the week, Monday to Friday. And then weekend, there's a lot of family stuff. I did happen to have a nice sauna session. We have like one of those infrared saunas, and I watched the QB session. I watched a few of the sessions. I love the combine. I think it's great that they did that. I mean, why not put it on the weekend when most people can probably watch it? They're not stuck at work and they want to see the skill position guys. But yeah, man, if you're in super flex or tight end premium, I mean, this is going to be a fun year. I think that's one thing that the combine told us. We've got 3 for sure legit quarterbacks. I think we can probably say at this point. And I think that the 4th one might even be one of those guys that becomes a value and maybe surprises depending on where he lands and just with everything else that went on, the Anthony Richardson hype, kind of building. Stroud was my favorite dude. As a Colts fan, I'm really hoping that they end up with Stroud. Answered some questions with maybe distance, but his accuracy looked good kind of all over the field to me. He just looks super natural, calm, collected, confident, like everything that he showed.
Man.
He's gonna be a good court, and he's more kind of ready than Anthony is, right? Which for a team like the Colts is what you want. The problem with AR, and I think he's, I mean, how can you not be impressed, right? Everything about him ran like what, a 4.43 officially, was a 4.44 initially, but again, if he ends up in the wrong place, under the wrong coaching staff, maybe they rush him. Maybe there's pressure by the fans. I don't know, wherever he ends up. You know how this league is, right? Like everybody wants everything yesterday. So I think that a guy like Stroud for me he's my number 1 quarterback at this point, just because there's yes, maybe the ceiling not as high, and I don't know that it's that much lower, to be honest. But I mean, you got to be excited about at least 3 of these quarterbacks. I'm excited about all 4. I think Will look good too. Different group of quarterbacks, so maybe wasn't as much hype around it, but he looked good. He looked confident. So yeah, that was. But the tight ends, man, like talk about a bunch of freaks.
Yeah.
And as a guy that plays FFPC tight end premium leagues, it's fun to see. I'm not usually a rookie tight end kind of guy because they usually take a while. I rather pay for proven guys, but it's always interesting to see the depth at the position and the size of these guys, man, and how fast some of them were.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you said Stroud's your number 1 quarterback. Is that number 1 quarterback NFL and fantasy, or is it different depending on which one you're looking at?
I mean, I think that he's my number one quarterback fantasy as well. Like I said, I love the what Anthony offers. You know, the ceiling could be Titanic, right? It could be huge, but I mean, Stroud in the right position, man. Put Stroud in Indy, add a couple more pieces. And then even a lot of these other teams that are quarterback needy, they have some nice pieces. Carolina's got DJ Moore. Atlanta, we know the youth that they have there. Some of these teams can make moves and move up and surprise and pick up some of these quarterbacks. But I think just the fact that I don't know that people are as confident about the quarterback class this year, and having at least 3 or 4 guys, I think is good for fantasy. It's good for football. And it's going to make the draft exciting for sure.
Absolutely. What about you, Ryan? What kind of stood out to you with the combine, just overall?
I mean, the quarterbacks looked great, and like you said, and I don't think you can go wrong, especially with Stroud. And I know Bryce Young didn't throw, but he's still there for me too. And I kind of want to touch the Anthony Richardson. It's just his when you talked about his situation, I think it matters a lot. Like, he needs the perfect situation and a team who will just embrace his skill set. But so it's a little scary there. Wide receivers really stuck out, just how deep they were and how it was like whatever flavor. Like, there was a ton of like small, fast receivers. It kind of shows the direction the NFL is going with a nice mixture in. But man, this wide receiver group, it's 8-10 guys deep now. Like, there's a lot of guys who are going to go those first 2 days. And if you don't have a top 3 pick in the draft or top 5 with Superflex, trading down might be the way to go. You can just load up and take dart throws on these guys because there's a lot of talent.
Absolutely. That's kind of what stood out to me too, is the depth of the receiver, because I've mentioned a few times on this show that I wasn't super excited about this draft class after watching a few of them, but seeing the combine and seeing some of the things that some of these guys are doing, I'm getting a little bit more excited about them now. And the depth of it is really key too, because like you mentioned, Ryan, that's, mid to end of the first, you're going to have a bunch of receivers go in our dynasty drafts. There'll be some good guys still left over in the second, because a few of those RBs, when they get good landing spots, are going to jump up into that first round, pushing these receivers down to the second round. So absolutely, if you got like the turn, you got like the 110, 111, 112, and then of course the 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, you can really get some good receivers in that range.
Yeah, and I feel like running back kind of went the opposite way at the combine. Like, absolutely. They either didn't participate, and after the top 2 guys, they're huge nicks on a lot of them. Yep. Either they ran badly, they were sub 200 pounds like Zach Evans. Like, a lot of questions. There'll be a lot of role players, but there's a lot of questions in the class at running back.
Agreed. Let's go ahead and stick to that theme, Ryan. Give me a couple of the players that sort of hurt their value with their combine results.
Should I just keep adding on to the Keyshawn Boudier, who
I mean, is there anyone else that fits in this, like that blew it as bad as he did?
I've already been hating. I've already kind of specifically hated on him a little bit too much this offseason on the show, because I didn't think he was that great to begin with. And I thought there was a lot of issues. In Devy, people just held on to him too long. But man, he dropped a big turd at the combine. Like, at that size, the other receivers that size were super athletic. He had a 29-inch vertical. In his broad jump at 9'10", there were 8 offensive linemen who jumped farther than him.
That's not good.
8 offensive linemen who jumped farther than him. In a 4.5 40, there was a tackle who ran faster than him.
Wow.
Bro, like, I'm sorry, it may have been a guard. But, like, it's crazy. You can't be that unathletic and have drop issues and attitude issues. Like, if you're a freak athlete, that makes up for it. But, dude, you might be lucky if you're a day 3 pick at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he's
especially with this much variety that we talk about and the depth of the position, and they kind of pick your flavor with all the different flavors. You got the smaller guys that showed speed. You got the bigger contested catching, the high point guys that are creeping up actually in our rankings, which usually means that hopefully NFL as well see it that way. But yeah, it's going to be he definitely took the biggest hit. I mean, I don't think anyone took a bigger hit than him.
Dude, it was rough. It's almost the point where I feel bad bringing it up,
He was 39th in the 10-yard split. He was second to last in the broad jump, and he was dead last in the vertical.
Ouch. That's not good. That's
Dude,
not
29-inch vertical is bad.
good. Yeah, that is bad. You got any other guys on your list, JD, of guys that sort of lost value?
Well, it's funny because I had him, and then I wrote also the RB class. That's kind of how I had it. I mean, you've got obviously Bijan that's cemented in at one, right? I don't know, generational, if that's as far as I'll go, but he's definitely the number one in his own tier. And then you've got Gibbs looks good.
And then
it's just everybody else.
And then it is, right? Like Sharps is probably the third guy, but then I've got, Roshan, guys like Roshan coming in, and you see this all over the place, right? You see people's rankings all over the place. And I think if you look right now, going into these rookie drafts, as we're going to be going into them, obviously the NFL draft's going to change some of it, but you kind of want to be in super flex, like in the top 8, probably, to get one of those. And that's if you like 4 quarterbacks, right? So that's 4 quarterbacks. You've got the 2 running backs. You've got JSN, and then maybe you've got another favorite in there. Maybe it's tight end Preem, and you've got your favorite tight end or something like that. Addison or one of the receivers gets in a good landing spot. But if you want someone, really significant, like one of those top guys, that's basically where you have to invest. Otherwise, I think it's one of those years where you're probably able to move back in your rookie draft, especially if you're on the clock and there's not a guy that you love.
Yeah,
that's perfect time to move back, get some collateral, maybe pick up another 2 guys a bit later on. Those late first guys becoming 2 seconds is always a nice thing to do, especially in a class like this where we're seeing depth at the running back and receiver position.
Absolutely.
One thing I just want to say, because a lot of people on Twitter seem to say he had a bad combine, was Jalen Hyatt. Because his 40, like they thought he was going to run a sub 4, like in the 4 phase.
I haven't.
A 4.4 flat is fantastic.
Yeah.
A 40-inch vertical is fantastic. His broad jump was 97th percentile. Like I saw people saying, "Oh, he's not as fast as we thought he was."
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, he's in the top.
Electric.
Yeah, 100%. I had him as one of my winners. I mentioned that he had the 4th highest vertical at 40. He had the best broad jump of all the receivers.
97th percentile all time.
Mims was quicker.
Dude, Mims is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He was a big winner.
He was a huge winner.
Yeah, my combine loser is not really in what I think is going to be actual. I just think it's more perception because he ran a slow time and people think that it's going to be a big deal. And I think we're counting it twice.
It is.
Michael Mayer ran a 4.7. We all had him as a tight end 1 coming in. People comparing him to Jason Witten, saying that's his comp. He's not super athletic, but he can just catch everything. He runs a 4.7, and we're all like, "Oh no, that's not good." But you go back and look, the comp that everybody gave him, Jason Witten, also ran a 4.7. So I mean, the comp fits perfectly. So why are we down on this guy after his 4.7 when we expected him not to run that fast?
Dude,
I think it's relative to the other freaks, right? They're freaks that were 6'7" that went 4.55, 4.64, 4.61. So it's all relative to that year, right? And this year there's a bunch of freaks at tight end, so that's probably why.
On Mock Draftable, like they have like the players who they profiled close to. Some of the names who are all pretty significant starters: Hayden Hurst, Pat Fryermuth, Dalton Schultz, all are contributors who tested very similarly around the same size and weight. That's just what a prototypical tight end does. And these freak athlete tight ends, while they're super exciting and fun, they don't always stay on the field.
Yeah.
Look how inconsistent Evan Ingram's been his whole career till then. Look at the issues David Njoku, these super freaks.
Kyle Pitts.
He had a 1,000-yard season, so he doesn't. OJ Howard, there's a lot that goes into it because that position is just so intricate.
The hardest position.
Yeah, he is great for a reason. He does it all, and you don't need to be that fast to be quarterback's best friend and get 120 targets, especially if you don't leave the field because you can block.
100%. I'm going to kick off the winners here, and I'm going to stick with the tight end theme and go with one of those guys we mentioned. Darnell Washington ran a 4.64. He's 6'7", 264 pounds, hit 21 bench reps. And then I don't know if you saw the sled when he was doing the sled. I mean, he just absolutely crushed it. Like, he's one of those guys that are not going to come off the field. He's a great blocker. We saw that one-handed sort of spin around catch that he did on the sideline there. That was just ridiculous. So he was a big winner for me, and he might be the tight end one currently in fantasy, I think, with his combine. And he jumped up a few spots because he was going like third, tight end 3, tight end 4 in most of the mocks I was doing pre combine. Ryan, what you got for one of your winners?
I am going off of a guy who I actually haven't even got to watch yet because he was that far down my list. And that's Bryce Ford Wheaton from wide receiver from West Virginia. Like, the combine, like, for people, if you watch film, you trust film, it's a way to find people who may have not been on the radar, who's not been on the main sites. But this dude is 6'3", 220 pounds. Ran a 4.38 40, had a 41-inch vertical, had a huge broad jump in the 89th percentile. He did well at everything. Like, that's a freak athlete. And the NFL is going to draft a guy who is that big and can move like that.
Absolutely. That's a good call. And I actually hadn't even looked at him yet. So now I need to go back and take a look at him. Good stuff. JD, what do you got for your biggest winner?
Well, he's my biggest winner, and maybe someone that wasn't necessarily on my radar. So I'm going to combine the two. I'll throw another one for you in the next question. But Marvin Mims, I mean, just running a 4.38, 94th percentile, breakout age 96th percentile, and 20.1 yard per reception in college. I mean, this guy is quick. He's 5'9", 177. Could use a bit of weight, but at that speed, on the right team, you know how much the NFL loves speed, right? We see these guys every year shoot up the draft capital with speed. So I think Mims will probably be a guy that keeps creeping up the boards. Jaden Reed, not so bad. Actually, 4.45 for 5'11", 199, bigger guy. Him and Rashee Rice are two guys that I really like, just like high point guys that go up to get the ball. Not the fastest guys necessarily, but good burst, really good burst, especially, if can take off and finally can find the end zone. But really, like, they go up and get the ball, man. And I love those guys. Like Cody says, Carpentier, the dogs, right?
Absolutely.
Dude, Rice performed much better than I expected him to. Yeah. Like, he was much more athletic than I thought he was going to end up being.
Absolutely. So just real quick, let's give a couple more. You can give either winners or losers. I'll kick us off here. I got two losers that I wanted to mention. One of them was a running back that was kind of clumped into the other running backs, and I think he's kind of fallen off now because of this, and it's Kenny McIntosh. Ran a 4.6 240, which just, you look at the history of running backs, a 4.6 is kind of that like dead zone. Once you're slower than 4.6, you kind of fall off there. So I think they expected him to run a little faster. So 4.62 kind of hurt him. And then the other one that everyone kind of thought might be the fastest player in the combine, I think even our guest before combine picked him as his fastest guy. First of all, he checked in at 5'8", 165, which is really, really small.
Tiny.
But if you're like, oh, okay, maybe he's just really, really fast. He ran a 4.49. That's Tank Dell. And that is not good for a guy that size. So Tank Dell probably just killed all draft stock he had is for fantasy or for NFL. So he's basically a special teams player. I think his career, he's not going to see the field on offense at that size. So those are two guys I had as my losers. Ryan, just pick a winner or a loser you got that you want to talk about.
Shout out to Jamie in the comments who just proved my point about people thinking Hyatt had a bad combine. So that just threw me off. Cedric Tillman, his teammate, he was another one. Like, I just thought he was a very solid wide receiver, but he wasn't great at anything, but he did everything well. He caught well, he jumped well. He ran good enough for being 6'3" at running a 4.54. Dude, that's a nice combine.
Yeah,
for a guy like that.
Absolutely. You got one more winner or loser there, JD?
Yeah, I talked about some of these freaks at tight end. Zach Kunitz. Is it Kuntz or Kuntz? Sorry, man. My screen is too far from my glasses. My old man glasses.
At least you didn't say it the other way.
6'7", 255, ran a 4.55. This guy's I think about guys like Jelani Wood in Indy, just freaks. You put them in the right situation, chuck them the ball in the red zone, and you've got a nice fantasy piece, especially in those tight end preems. So it'll be interesting seeing the guys like Darnell Washington, Zach Kuntz, where they end up.
Darnell Washington, man.
Yeah,
he's a freak.
6'7", 264, ran a 4.64.
Dude, and that one-handed catch he had on the sideline, like ridiculous. What a freak, man.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely. All right, real quick, let's go and just give us your combine MVP, Ryan.
I mean, it has to be Anthony Richardson. Like, you can't make an argument anyone else. He was the best combine ever at his position. He was like 100th percentile RAS score. And he has himself in the conversation for one overall now. There's not a single person who helped herself more than him. I know it's super boring to say, but it's the truth. He was unbelievable.
He was. He definitely was. What about you, JD? Who was your combine MVP?
Just because I know Chris Ballard watches this show, I'm going to take this time.
He's a big fan.
I know he's a big. He messaged me, man, before I came on. He wanted me to give you guys a big what's up, but I mean, CJ Stroud, amongst all the hype around him with Anthony Richardson, calm, cool, and collected, and just looked fantastic out there. So I'll give him the 1B maybe as MVP.
Yeah. I think that Richardson was the combine MVP. So just to be different, I'm taking Jalen Hyatt. I mean, I know Ryan talked about everybody saying that they were down, and I couldn't see it. I mean, every time I looked at those lists of receivers, he was towards the top of every single one of them. So maybe he didn't run quite as fast. Trust me.
Yeah, the slow 4.4s.
Yeah, the slow 4.4 guy.
A 4.4 flat, it's just crawling out there.
100%. So yeah, I'll give him the honorary combine MVP. All right, attention Dynasty managers. Do you want something fun and unique for your league? For as low as $8.50 a person in a 12-man league, we do live 1 hour personal league podcast dedicated to your league. We break down every team in your league. We rank them from worst to first. Just visit goingfor2.com/PLP for details and to book your podcast. We do Dynasty, we do redraft, super flex leagues, vampire leagues. We did a 20-team Empire League. We've done all kinds of leagues. Again, that link is goingfor2.com/PLP. The PLP stands for Personal League Podcast, so go book one now.
And now it's Fact or Cap.
All right, with a lot of the question marks in the offseason, I thought it'd be a fun thing to do some Fact or Cap here just to see where we think some of these guys might land or what their outlook is for the season. And the first one here is the big one who just got franchise tagged, but they're talking about potentially trading him. And Ryan, of course, you're the Ravens fan, so I'm going to go to you first on this one. Lamar Jackson is the starting QB for the Ravens in week 1. Fact or Cap?
I know.
his response just says it all, and you're the first Ravens fan that I come across since this whole chaos started. So, I mean, I feel bad, man. I feel bad.
Like, Baltimore's calling his bluff. Let's call it is. Like, he wants this guaranteed deal that the NFLPA is trying to use him as an example because he doesn't have an agent and no one to advise him and tell him this is stupid. That's why 5 teams have said they're out already because he wants an absurd amount of money. And when you have terrible organizations such as the Commanders saying, no, we don't want any part, and Carolina saying, no, we don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
Something's up, and it might not be greener on the other side. So I'm hoping he stays, but you know what? If they're high enough first, whatever, dude. $250 million is a lot of money. I have no idea how it's going to go. Baltimore's essentially daring him to find a team who's going to give him this stupid offer. And when bad organizations are going out, there's not that many options left.
Yeah, I saw a tweet and it made so much sense that the Ravens are basically asking other teams to
negotiate
for them.
Set the market.
It's beautiful. It's really the first day of it, I was very much against what they did. And then, like, when you keep hearing stuff about it, how they're asking them to negotiate, essentially show him that he's being ridiculous.
Get what he wants. Yep.
And say a team does offer him 220, and they're like, you know what, and like 190 guaranteed. And they're like, we can do that. They just swoop in and take it.
Yep.
And if it's Houston, they take that 2 overall and snatch CJ Stroud right in front of you, JD.
There you go. Exactly.
But but like it's just really hard because either the team can't afford it at $50 million. It's just I don't know how it happens, but I have no idea. And I'm frustrated by it. I just want it to be over. I don't care when it goes. I just want an answer.
So JD, what do you got? Factor cap for Lamar Jackson week 1?
Yeah, I think it's about I'm a percentage guy, man. I say it's about a 55% chance right now that he does play for Baltimore. I think he's probably sour. I don't think it helps that he doesn't have an agent, clearly. The collusion spin on this whole thing, the collusion narrative, I find interesting with the owners. Just obviously, Watson was not ideal if you're an NFL owner. This would be kind of continuing that trend and just continuing down that road. And you could see why the owners probably don't want that to be the way it goes. So I'm curious to see how this plays out, to see if does one of the teams, you got to think somebody, just like somebody did for Watson with everything that was going on when he was, available. You got to think there's one owner, one team out there that is. Yes, sir.
It's crazy that Atlanta was in on Watson and not in on Lamar.
Yeah, it is.
But it's crazy how quickly they came out and said they were in on Lamar.
Yeah, almost immediately after.
It doesn't really make sense. Why would you not wait to see what's happening out there? I mean, anyone that doesn't have what did I hear? It's like one of those morning football or whatever shows, they were saying there's like 16 teams right now that don't have like locked in, clear quarterback situations. And how is that possible? He's 26. The guy was MVP. What did they say? They're second last, I think, in the league in offense when he's not on the field, and they're like number 1 in the league when he is, or some crazy stat, like some extreme like that. I'd have to check the facts there because I didn't check those before I came on. But it's pretty extreme, the difference, the splits in the games when he's on and off the field. It's very surprising that in this NFL, seeing how hard it is to lock in that position. Look at Atlanta, like they've got Desmond Ridder. I mean, as much as I've got Ridder in one of my FFPC triflex, that's not someone you want to, especially when you've got talents like Pitts in London there,
Or Houston or the Raiders, they have nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you got Davis Mills, and I don't even know who's the top quarterback for the Raiders. Right? Is it Stidham?
Stidham, yeah.
And they have $41 and $39 million in cap space, respectively, and they could easily.
No, Stidham's free agent. Stidham's gone. He's not in Vegas anymore.
Free agent too,
the Raiders have anybody?
Pretty sure he's a free agent. Yeah.
Wow. Raiders literally have nobody. That's crazy. All right, let's move on to this next one here, and I'll go to you first, JD. Chris Olave is a wide receiver 1 this year with Derek Carr as his QB. What are your thoughts there? Factor cap.
Definitely has a higher chance, that's for sure, with Carr. He gave us a wide receiver 25 season as a rookie with, the Red Rocket and a bunch of bag of pucks, as we say up here in Canada, chucking him the pigskin. But we also just saw Devontae Adams give you a wide receiver 3 season with Carr at quarterback. So not that I think Carr is, top tier quarterback. I think he definitely improves receivers like Olave, who are going to be targeted often by Carr. I think it definitely helps him versus what he had last year. So his chances are definitely higher. I give him 75% chance, 70% chance of being in top 12.
Yeah, good stuff.
That might even be high. Maybe 65 sounds 65. Better.
What about you, Ryan?
I was about to say 60 or 65% chance.
Chase Garber.
Chase Garber is the quarterback for the Raiders currently.
Oh God, poor Devontae Adams. Dude, it's a really good chance. Only thing I think would keep him from it is just how stacked wide receiver is. But I'll say fact just because I can see the road to it. It's very clear.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's fact as well. I think if he had played, every game this past season, he could have been even higher. Maybe not wide receiver 1, but he could have been in that top end wide receiver 2 category for sure. All right, we're running against the clock here, so let me get to another good one here. Let's look at the guy that we haven't seen in a little while. Calvin Ridley is a top 24 receiver in 2023. Ryan, factor cap.
I'm gonna go with cap. the way the team is and the way Trevor Lawrence showed, especially late, he's so good at spreading the ball around. Like Christian Kirk had 103 targets. Zay Jones had 121. Evan Ingram had 98. Marvin Jones had 81. Like that pie is split up as evenly as you can get. And in a pie like that, if you're not the top guy who Christian Kirk's paid like he is, it's going to be real hard getting there.
Yeah.
Unless he's touchdown dependent, which really isn't his thing. I see it's a hard chance to hit that top 24.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's the same argument I had. It's too even. Lawrence is too good. He doesn't focus on one receiver. He's
fantastic.
In his mind, he's got 2 or 3 number one guys.
Like even his touchdowns are spread out. Everything.
Yep. What about you, JD? Calvin Ridley, top 24, factor cap.
Yeah, it's funny. I was going to say unpopular opinion here, but I'm going to disagree with Jamie with Ridley. I'm going to admit I didn't think Kirk would do as well as he did in Jacksonville. I'm big on watching rapport with quarterback, and he definitely built it with Kirk. He definitely built it with Ingram. Ingram was
and
one of my
late.
Yeah, like even January, we started drafting best balls in January, and I was taking Ingram like he was in Jacksonville. I mean, why would you not bring him back? Why fix what's not broken? They're going to add Ridley to this offense. They're not going to put him in there to replace something because there's nothing that really needs to be fixed right now. They just want to keep evolving on what they did last year and improving. So Ridley does add another dynamic. I don't think in 2023 he's a top 36. Was it 36 or 24 you had him at?
You said 24.
24. I don't even know. Yeah, he's maybe top 36, but I don't have him as a top 24. Maybe in 24 things are different, but yeah. I don't think and the time off, what do they call that in fighting? Ring rust, right?
Yeah.
We saw John Jones. He's not John Jones,
John Jones had no ring rust.
He's not the GOAT, right? So I am very hesitant, and when I see Ridley go ahead at Kirk in best ball drafts right now, I cringe. Like I would take Kirk ahead of him, but if I can wait and get Kirk, it's even better.
Even better. The one thing no one's talking about, and this is a little bit off subject with Calvin Ridley, is we're all talking about him and the gambling thing and being suspended. But before that actually happened, he had some mental health issues that kept him out of a few games from going to London and everything else.
Michael Thomas.
Right. Is that still going to come back and rear its ugly head at this season as well? I mean, we all think, he's in the clear from the gambling thing. Now he's going to be good to go. But is he going to be good to go?
What was his tweet today? Did you guys see that? He tweeted out like a tweet or a message, or he
did an article for The Athletic, or not The Athletic, the Player Tribune.
Oh, okay.
Describing how that was his worst mistake he had in his life.
Oh, wow.
Like kind of just telling the world what happened. I didn't get to read the whole thing, but that's just what it was. So it wasn't anything bad. I think it's a good thing for him to do to help his image.
Right.
Oh, look, I hope he comes back and he's strong and gives us another, top receiver season. Just, I think it might take him a bit, and especially in an offense that's already clicking.
All I know is he's going to help Trevor Lawrence, and that's awesome.
Oh yeah,
Trevor watching him is so fun.
Yeah, the offense is going to be fun to watch this year for sure. All right, let's get to our veteran receiver mock draft. Guys that have to be 25 years or older.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
Yeah, so I wanted to mix it up. I know every podcast right now wants to talk about these rookies and these young guys coming in, and we will eventually talk about them as well. Actually, next week we got John Lobb coming on to talk about them. So I wanted to go the opposite way here and get some of the older, quote-unquote, older guys, 25 and older. So we're going to go ahead and kick this off here at the 101, JD, and tell me what you got for your 101 25 and older receiver.
For sure, A.J. Brown, GOAT District, on brand pick.
I can't believe he's 25.
25.7. You know what? It's funny you say that, Ryan. I was going through this list, and there were guys like Terry McLaurin. Can you believe that guy he's
27?
Like, he's old, man. Like I didn't think he was that old. And there's a lot of these guys. You're like, man,
Calvin Ridley hasn't played 2 years. He's 28.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, AJ Brown, man, 25.7 as the wide receiver 8 this year. I love AJB, and again, that's his first year with Hurts. You think that's just gonna keep blossoming out there in Philly?
Agreed. That was definitely the 101 for sure. There was no one even close to that. I think. Ryan, you got the 102.
he's not quite close, but he's damn good and still pretty young. And that's DK Metcalf.
Yeah, that was my
Like
one.
him and Gino look really good together. I thought about going one of the older guys who may put up a few more points, but he's so good. And said he's just 25, so he just got that cut off.
So I'm gonna go even older here. I know this is Dynasty, but
Well, it's gonna be older because they're like barely 25.
this is this guy's he's approaching 30, but he's still the fastest guy in the league probably, and that's Tyreek Hill at 29 years old. He was receiver 7, I think, or receiver 8 last year at one point before Tua went down. So I'll take Tyreek Hill at the 103. Back to you, JD, at the 104.
One of my favorite receivers with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like you said, closing in on 30, but Stephon Diggs giving us wide receiver 6, wide receiver 9, wide receiver 3. Ever since he's been in Buffalo, he's been a top receiver. If anything, I see kind of a bounce back season. As much as we say he was wide receiver 6, we had, could have been better, could always be better. And you could see Buffalo coming back with a vengeance next year. So give me Stephon Diggs with as 29. He's just turned 29, so he's all right. A couple more years.
Great pick.
When I heard great quarterback, I immediately thought you were going to say Devontae Adams.
All right, I got the order mixed up here, Ryan, but actually you're the one that's up now, so go ahead and make your pick.
You know what? Just for doing that and trying to mess the order up, I'm going Deebo Samuel.
Oh, you bastard.
And Jeff's reaction is all I need to go into my analysis. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a drop off. He's only 27. He's a huge part of that offense. And I think either one of those young quarterbacks, whoever it is next year, I think he meshes well with them.
Yeah, that's a great call. That's who I was going to go with had I had that pick for real, like I have written down there. All right, so I'm up at the 106, and I'm going to take the guy that every year I talk about him, and so does Ryan. We love this guy. We can't believe he's still 25 years old.
The oldest 25 ever.
Exactly. That's DJ Moore.
Nice.
He did it last year with Sam Darnold, for God's sake. And he even had what's his name, XFL quarterback that came in and he had his best game of the season with him.
Wait till he gets Lamar.
Yeah, exactly. Give this guy a quarterback, please. Anybody that's better than Sam Darnold, and I think he has a huge season. Had a career high in touchdowns this year, which I think I had as my bold prediction. I had him with 10. He didn't quite get to 10, but he did have more than he's had in his entire career. So I'll take Moore here at the 106. And let's see, what are we at, the 107, JD?
I'm gonna go. I like the DJ Moore. He was next on my list. I'm gonna go Chris Godwin, 27 years old. I know just last year Tampa wasn't the best offense, but still got 142 targets, 104 receptions, finished as a wide receiver 15 in a pretty awful Tampa Bay offense last year. So I don't know how much helps he gets this year, whether it's Kyle Trask or I don't know where else they can get help. Maybe miracle happens in the draft or something, but I do love Godwin. I did see some talk a possible trade, so who knows, maybe they blow it up and he ends up in a better place, but purely on talent, age, I love Godwin here.
Yeah, he's another guy that I feel like is older than he is, and he just feels that old, but he's not that old at all, so that's a good call. All right, Ryan, 108.
I can't believe I'm taking guys and be 30 by the time the season starts. I'm gonna take Cooper Kupp.
No.
I know he missed this year, but that defense is going to take a big step back. When Stafford's on the field, Stafford has eyes just for him, or guys who he thinks is him and he's confused. Like, he's going to get 150 targets until the wheels fall off. And I'll take that chance at this point.
100%. I was trying to look up while you were talking, because didn't he still end up missing half the season? He still ended up, I forget where he ended up still pretty good as far as his overall stats in the little short time. Yeah, he still ended up as a wide receiver 2. He finished at wide receiver 23 on his total stats there in PPR leagues.
Gee,
and he only played
I did not realize he finished that high.
He was actually the wide receiver 1 if you look at fantasy points per game.
Exactly. Yep. So yeah, he comes back strong. You're right. You got a steal there at the.
I'm a little worried. Like I sound stupid saying that about Cooper Kupp, but I just like I'm in a lot of drafts right now, best balls, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but he's going off as the wide receiver 3, 4, or 5 latest right now.
I'm not comfortable there.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much for me.
To me, there's guys ahead of him there.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so let's see where we at. I'm up at the 109, and so this list that I'm looking at on DLF, yes, it's nice. It sorts it by age, but it doesn't sort it by ranking. So I feel like I'm going to miss somebody here. But I'm going to take the guy that kind of stands out to me. He's also 25, and I keep hoping for the breakout. I know we've talked about him on the show a couple of times, and I can't remember. I don't think Ryan. Ryan.
Wait till CJ Stroud's throwing him tutties.
Yeah, there you go. You already knew who I'm talking about. Mr. Michael Pittman. Get him a quarterback. And, we saw in the beginning of the season when Matt Ryan was actually playing pretty decent. He looked really good. And then Matt Ryan sort of fell apart, and that whole team fell apart, and he kind of fell off. But get him a quarterback and give him the ball. I think he's going to have a great season. So Michael Pittman is my choice here at the 109. JD, back to you for your final pick here. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. It's pretty flat when you're either going for an old guy like Adams. We talked about Jacksonville. It could go Kirk. I mean, Kirk is 26, ascending. Yeah, I might go Kirk here.
Yeah, Christian Kirk's a great pick.
Give me Christian Kirk. As much as Adams is a solid top, 5-6 receiver, as long as he's playing. We don't know who's chucking him the ball yet, and he is on the other side of 30, so we never know when that drop is. I mean, I think he's good for another couple more years, but this is Dynasty, so give me Christian Kirk, locked in contract-wise, ascending offense, nice young quarterback, nice and sunny in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
let's go Kirk.
Good stuff. Ryan, your last pick here at the 111.
Yeah, and I'm shocked he's still there. I feel like I should draft him earlier because he had 1,200 yards, finishes wide receiver 14, and is quarterback proof. And that's Terry McLaurin. Like, he has the most. He was wide receiver 14. He had 1,191 yards and 5 touchdowns last year, 120 targets, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
He's 27 years old. Nobody cares. He just drops
Commanders
in drafts. And the Commanders could have a major upgraded quarterback. I mean, I don't know how you can, but they could have a major one.
They already do, dude. It's Sam Howell. Didn't you hear?
Yeah.
Which is an upgrade.
100%.
I mean, the enemy's there. That's got to give boost somewhere on the offense, right?
Yeah, they have a real offensive coordinator. That's cool. It's like when we talked about Trevor Lawrence last year, where they just got him a head coach who was an adult, and we saw how good it could be.
That was Ryan's favorite line over the summer, over the season.
And I stick with it. Like, you get players, coaches who actually know what they're doing a little bit, and they can skyrocket.
I like that. I might use that on Russell Wilson this offseason. I'll give you credit, right? No worries.
I mean, it works really well for us, actually.
Right?
Good stuff. All right, I got the last pick here, and it's getting a little bit slim pickings. There's a couple guys. There's Mike Evans on the board still at 29. Brandon
Just make your homer pick. Come on, move on. Let's go.
No, Debo's gone.
Oh,
yeah, I already did that one.
Just dismissing the other receiver in San Fran. I like it. All right.
Is he over 25? He's over 25. Is he Ayuk?
He's 25 exactly.
Is he really? I don't know why I can't find him on this list. I must have passed by him. I was looking at another guy that's, you know what? I'll go with Ayuk. Is he on? I still can't find him.
He's 24.8. That's why.
Oh,
player. I'm going to have to talk to Matt Kelly, man. Player profiler's got at 25 right there.
All right.
They rounded up for the season.
I can't take him, so I will take another guy. He's on that cusp. He is 25. We saw what he did when D-Hop was out of the lineup. Granted, they won't have a quarterback probably for this year.
Yeah, I like that.
But when he gets his quarterback, Marquise Brown at 25 is a great option. And when he gets that quarterback there, I think he's even better. So I'll close it out there with Marquise Brown. All right,
we're big on Hollywood on the GOAT district, especially the best balls. He's nice value.
Absolutely,
definitely nice value. Forgotten that whole offense in Arizona. I feel right now is just really nice value,
dude.
Yep. They're all
Kyler Murray's dynasty startup value right now is crazy.
It's
He's
insane.
going round 2. He's going like mid round 2 and super flex. It's insane.
Yep, I've seen them go. Yeah, mid second rounds, insane. All right, let's get to the final segment of the night.
Get ready for GoingFor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, JD, we've changed this segment a little bit since the last time you were on. Now, instead of just giving us the guy, you got to give us some hints, and me and Ryan have to guess. And so far, since we started doing this, we've gotten all of them without getting too many of the hints.
Jamie and Shaq got it last week, though.
I think I got it. I'll give it to Jamie. I'll give it to Jamie.
You did not get it, but
How many hints? What's the record? Hint numbers.
3, I think.
yeah, I got one. I got one really quick.
All right.
Yeah, one of them you got really quick. All right, JD, what you got?
Has played a decade.
Okay.
Or has played or played? Or they're forgotten, right? So played a decade in the NFL.
Okay.
Do they still play the way you're saying it?
No, they played.
Okay.
They're not playing anymore.
Okay.
Played over 150 games.
Frank Gore.
Jeff, you got a guess? That's 2 hints. We're going on 3.
So it was not Frank Gore.
Racked up over 8,500 yards.
Receiving yards or rushing yards?
That's not part of the hint.
Oh, man.
Oh, I like this. You're just being evil.
Yes, he is. Because I was trying to figure out, is he a receiver or a running back?
Are you not entertained?
Played a decade, over 150 games. He said 8,500 yards.
Three top 4 seasons at his position. We're at 4 hints now.
150 games, 8,500 yards. Played a decade. I think the decade part is the key.
It's a fairly short career. Well, not really.
Yeah, it depends on what position he played. It's a long
Number 5, played for 2 NFL teams.
but we don't get either one of them. Played a decade. Oh, man, this is tough. You're killing me, man.
Dez.
Number 6. Nickname, White Lightning.
White Lightning. I feel like
Eric Decker. No. Huh? Not Eric Decker.
Damian Amendola. Just trying to think of white guys that played in the NFL. Wes Welker, Julian Edelman,
Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson. Oh,
Wow, that's a good one.
that is a good one. That is a really good one.
I never knew his nickname was White Lightning.
Neither did I. I've never.
I found that today. I thought it was funny. I said I'll put as the last one in case one of them know that.
Yeah, I definitely did not. I was just trying to name white receivers that were good. That's a good one. That's the first one we didn't get. That's the
Nice.
JD.
Nice.
You were super. That was as cryptic as it gets with the. I like it. Like normally we
Like
get like
10
a
years.
few, we normally get like 3 or 4 in a row, like to start before we start guessing.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun, man.
Good
Like I
stuff.
said, your show sheets are fun, man. Like it's, as a guy that puts shows together, you guys do a good job doing it.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, that wraps the podcast up, JD. Let's go around the room real quick. Give us your Twitter handle one more time, where we can follow you at, where we can find the podcast at, all that good stuff.
At JD Go District, at Go District for the show. Find us on YouTube. Watch us on YouTube. Watch us on Spotify. Listen to us on your favorite podcasts, whether it's Redraft, Dynasty, Best Ball, High Stakes. We talk fantasy football. We bring you the best. Come check us out, man. Hopefully you like what you like, and subscribe and hang out with us all off season, man, because we're going to keep pounding and like these guys, keep bringing the content to help you guys be better at this game that we all love. Guys, always a blast, man. I love hanging with you guys. We got to do this way more often. I mean, 2 years, still can't believe that. I've gotten grayer during that time, but we'll get you guys on our channel, and hopefully we connect soon.
Absolutely. Well, you have to step down because me and Ryan don't play too many high stakes leagues, so you got to step down from your high stakes.
No, well, we'll get you on. Do you guys do Best Ball at all?
We do. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get you on. We can do another platform or a smaller buy-in. It's not a big deal, man, for sure.
Good stuff. Ryan, what you got going on?
Same old, same old. Find me Twitter, Foss534. Find me here. Find me over at the Rookie Big Board.
Good stuff. As always, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Lambert77. As I mentioned at the top of the show, going for 2 Live Podcast Network. We have a show every night. A couple new shows this off season. If you haven't checked them out yet, some of them are not even fantasy related. So if you want some interesting things, Gladys has a new show called No Particular Order. It's just a bunch of crazy mock drafts. They had a serial killer mock draft this past weekend. So check that show out. She's on Thursday nights. For Ryan, for JD, I'm Jeff. We will see y'all next Wednesday.